y'all. This is Joe with STX Archery and Outdoors. Today, we get to hit the topic that I think everybody has on their bucket list at least once in their lifetime, and that is the infamous elk hunt. And we are going to be joined and living vicariously through Michael, one of our pro staff shooters. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Perfect. So, I'm just gonna dive in because I have so many questions. I'm super stoked about this conversation. I dreamt about it last night, I'm not gonna lie. Um, so let's just start from the very beginning. Elk hunting. When did it start? How did it start? Let's start there.
Yeah, man, it really started not for me, but for my dad. My dad and my uncle, one of my uncle that passed away in 2011. In the 90s, they went elk hunting like 5 years in a row. They went to a certain unit in Colorado. They found out about it through my dad's uncle. But they hunted for 5 years straight. I remember as a kid, this was when I was like in elementary school. Dad would be packing up the trailer, growing their beards out for Colorado,
Love it.
and they'd go for a week and a half and go hunting. During the '90s, they never did get an elk. But as time went on, Dad was always, hey, you got to go elk hunting, you got to go elk hunting, and my first trip really it didn't come to fruition until 2017. Graduated college in 2008. Got the job and delayed it every year. And finally in 2017, I was like, you know what, it's time to do this. And so we started really planning in 2016. Because you got to plan early. You got to think about where you're going to go, what tags you're going to put in for. Um, and so 2017 was our first year to go. It was me and my dad and my uncle Pat. Yeah, so that was.
So here's one of my biggest things is because this is some rough stuff. This is rough hunting, right?
Yeah,
This
no,
isn't your
that's
typical, you're not sitting in a blind, you're not over any feeders. This is you. How do you know what to take? Like that's one
yeah.
big question I got.
So yeah, good question. And the evolution of my elk hunting experience
Mhm.
from 2017 through now,
Mhm.
2017 was completely different than what I take now. Um, from everything, you learn a lot. I had a little bitty backpack my first year because I was, happened to. I'm like, I wasn't planning on packing anything out.
Right.
I'm like, well, I'll just bear hug,
Just gonna
meat
rough it.
and take it out. Um, but you learn so much through the years of going. Now dad and he had went before, so he had an idea of what to take. And there's so many different styles of elk hunting. You can go do a true backpacking experience where you got your tent and everything on your back, and you're taking a pack that in your food that you survive for 8 days in one pack. We do a little bit different. We pack up a full trailer with a Ranger or mule and four wheelers. We got a big wall tent that we set up camp. It's I think a 14 by 20 wall tent with cots, and set up a good camp on public land. We got a whole cook shed that it's a smaller tent that we do all our cooking out of. Um, when we go, we are loaded down. We've went. I guess that first year when there was three of us, we packed everything on a 16-foot trailer. As we've gone throughout the years, went to a 20-foot gooseneck, and now it's pretty much two 16-foot trailers to get
Big
everything.
gum.
Yeah, to get everything we need. I mean, like it's we take a lot of stuff, but we camp very comfortably.
Mhm.
We set up a big base camp, and then you pretty much leave every day from there. And whether you travel 2 miles, whether you travel 10 miles in a mule or a four-wheeler to go to your hunting spot, that's
Right.
kind of how we set it up. But just the evolution of what we've taken and refined our list. We have a master list that we send out every year. Everybody checks off
I love
what
that
what oh,
checklist.
it's a checklist on what everybody's bringing. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we take.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah.
So there in Colorado, does the public people who manage that public land, the government, the state, whatever, do they kind of tell you where you can set up a base camp at, or just kind of is all free for all?
It's pretty much all free for all. So we hunt. I'm not going to get into specifically. I'm not going to tell all my secrets and
I
tell
love
what
that.
unit and all that good stuff. But it's Southwest Colorado and in national forest. And yeah, there is some rules. but it's nothing crazy. I mean, we pretty much, you drive in to the national forest, and we have like two or three camping spots that if one's occupied, we'll go to the next. And
That was gonna be my
just
next
That
question.
was it.
Is
Yes.
if you get there, someone's in your spot, y'all like freaking out, or
so
we have
Duking it
no,
out.
no.
so the first year in 2017, we actually, me and my dad and my uncle Pat, we camped in the same spot that my dad and my uncle Marvin camped back in the 90s. Okay. And it's like really 11 miles from where we actually did most of our hunting. It was, I mean, it was pretty far on the west side of the unit. And it was a comfortable camp. But
And
then
for clarification, when we say unit, we're talking about the piece of land you're hunting on.
that's correct.
The entire piece of land is called a unit.
Colorado, I don't know how
Okay.
many specific units. So yeah, so when you want to go elk hunting in Colorado, you just don't say I'm gonna go elk hunting anywhere. You have to put in. Now Colorado this year went 100% to a draw only. You have to draw a tag. Used to, my first year in 2017, you went to Walmart and bought an over the counter elk tag, and it was a
Oh,
either sex, bull or antlerless, bull or cow tag that you could just go buy at Walmart for your 700 and whatever dollars. Now Colorado's 100%. Yeah, it's gone up now. It's almost, I think it's 800 now, but 100%. 100% draw only now. So you have to choose, and you choose what unit you want to hunt in. So we have the specific unit that we hunt in. You put in for the draw. If you're lucky, you draw your tag. The unit we put in, it's relatively easier to draw. It's not known for huge bulls. It's got a good resident herd of elk there. But after 2017, when the next year, 2018 we didn't go because I had just got a new job. 2019, what was it? It was, we were building our house, and so a lot of extra expenses that didn't want to fork out the money. So 2020, after 2017, 2020 was my next year to go. And we chose a different camping spot that year. When you go to Colorado, cell service on a phone is slim to none. And I guess the last 3 years we went, we actually found a spot that gets a little bit of service. So that was a huge benefit. It's pretty close to where we like to typically hunt. And so, yeah, you just pull off the road. I mean, you got to rake some pine needles, get them and move some rocks to get out from under your tent when you set it up. But yeah, you pretty much, I mean, you've got, I don't know how many acres the unit is, but it's huge. It's a huge piece of property. So you just find the camping
So in
spot.
any given moment or any given time when you're up there at this time of the year, um, how often will you come across other hunters while you're out there on public land?
So yeah, that's elk season always runs from
September, right? Starting
pretty
September.
much somewhere around September 1.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend is when elk hunting starts, and it runs for a month. So what we found out over the years, that month, my favorite time to hunt is the very first week. Those animals have been really untouched, if you will, for a year. Um, the pressure dies off on them, so they're they're moving around. The only disadvantage to hunting the first weekend is sometimes it can get very hot. It can get up to 90 degrees, and
First part of September,
first
really
part.
cooled off. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
like
But Labor Day weekend, what we found out is we always went up early, and we wanted to be hunting opening day, which is a Saturday morning of Labor Day weekend. And it's like the worst time to flip and hunt because there was. I mean, when we pulled in that one year, we were like, oh my god, there's people everywhere, and it got kind of frustrating. But what we realized is a lot of that was weekend warriors, or not necessarily weekend warriors, but locals who come out for the weekend, for opening weekend, and come and hunt. And then when Monday rolled around, everybody's packing up to leave, and so we got to hunt, pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday without anybody there. So it was pretty nice. That's my favorite time to go. The last time we went the last weekend of September, just how it worked with everybody's work schedules. And I don't want to go the last week of September again. Man, it just
Full
seemed
of
like
people.
there
Oh
was
no.
actually there was hardly any people, but the elk they had been pressured for a month,
Mhm.
and where we typically found the elk, they were they were nowhere near. I mean, they were so far in stuff that was so hard to get to. it was frustrating. We knew they were there. We could see them, but man, trying to get to them, it was. I mean, just to get to them, it would take an all day hike to get to them, and then you're like, oh my god, we're 6 miles off the main road, and it'd be a huge pack
You
out.
gotta get back.
Yeah, and it just seemed like it was such. We saw slim numbers that year, but typically we like to stick around the beginning.
And so elk season is what, generally about a month. That's it.
It's a month, and the what's bad about elk season is you've got goes from beginning of September to end of September, and there's is it a week or 2 week? I think it's a week and a half. I don't remember exactly what. Right in the middle of September when muzzleloading season is as well.
Okay.
And so you have a mix. Therefore, if you happen to be hunting during that time frame, you have a mixed bag of hunters. You know, you've got your archery hunters, who are you don't have to wear blaze orange archery hunting. Muzzleloaders have to, and so kind of competing for most muzzleloaders hunting. They're hunting over meadows or over ponds, waiting for elk to come to water. So it's a little bit different style of hunting.
Wow.
But yeah.
That's rough.
Okay, so now you're at base camp. It's Pat, my boy Andy. Yeah, man. Hey, man. Andy, Pat, and Mike, y'all are in you got base camp established. Whatever. Walk me through a day in the life of what you do from morning to night and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Consists of.
Yeah. And so now after 2017, starting 2020, so my brother-in-law Travis, he started going with us because elk hunting, you really want to hunt in pairs.
Sure.
It really works out where you have a caller and a shooter. You flip-flop every day. And then I think a year Travis couldn't go. Jimmy Kalen went with us.
Jim K.
Yeah. So first thing you got, so to answer your question, it depends on if you know where the elk are.
Okay. Which I'm assuming we've done scouting. You kind of know already.
Well,
Maybe.
I mean that's a disadvantage of living in Texas and hunting in Colorado. You get up there. That's why another reason why I like going the first week. We try to get up there a day early so you can spend a day scouting. And that typically the unit we hunt, it's extremely hard to glass. I call it oak brush. It's these oak bushes that from a picture they look like they're waist high. But these things are they're 20 foot tall. And it's literally solid on this mountain. And so there's very few openings where you can actually see elk move through it. So we try to get up there at least a day early to do a day of scouting. And that typically consists of in the early mornings or in the late afternoon, right at dusk. That's when the elk typically move because they bed during the day, is sitting there glassing, and everybody's got binoculars glassing kind of this whole basin and trying to spot these elk in the little small meadows there are, see if you can see any feeding. So once you know where the elk are, so in the day in the life of how we do it, it's waking up at.
I can imagine a lot of jokes with Pat and Andy.
Yeah.
A lot of shit talking, a lot of fun.
A lot of domino playing.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
But wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
And sunrise being?
Sunrise is usually 6.
Okay, so we're talking 2.5 to 3 hours early.
Yep.
Okay.
You get up. So, for me, and kind of my style of elk hunting, I like to go after the elk. I like to try to call them in, try to kind of ambush them. You can also go sit on a pond type deal. I try to leave by say 4:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Take the mule with the hunting partner wherever we're gonna hunt, because there's certain trails that you can take. You can have access to off-road vehicles. Certain ones you can't.
So when establishing where you're gonna hunt, we're looking at a paper map or Onyx hunt. Onyx hunt. Okay.
Onyx and Google Earth.
Got it. Okay. Just want to clarify. We're past the days of paper maps. We're using Onyx now. Which Onyx works really well offline.
Yes.
Well.
If you download the maps, on Onyx, you download it in sections, and the closer you get. So I have 8 different maps in all my points, and so you can pretty much know exactly. And
got it.
We've hunted the same unit every year, and so I have a ton of units, ton of different spots I always want to try out. I'd like to get where I'm trying to get to early, and then hike up the mountain. You know, the one we typically, it's about maybe 900 vertical foot over 2 to 3 miles of hiking to get up to the top.
It's all this way.
Oh, it's all up.
It's
In the
all up.
mornings, it's in the
It's all
mornings, it's
that way.
all up, getting to the top to kind of a glassing spot, and what I like to do is get to a vantage point where you can like I say, because you're looking at all this oak brush, you can't really see nothing, and unless they're in a meadow that early. You try to catch them first at first light when they're kind of moving out of a meadow, drinking water, eating, grazing. They'll move to their bedding area, and like to let out a location bugle. You're pretty much doing it blind. I mean, and you're calling with the bugle tube, letting out a location bugle. There's different types of bugles. A location bugle is just saying, "Hey man, where you at?"
So are we talking about location bugle? We're talking not a cow. We're talking about an elk bugle.
An elk, just
a mature bull bugle.
Yep, and but it's not. You can get different aggression, different styles of of bugling.
Wait, real quick question. Let me interfere with the bugling thing. How long did it take you to not only learn which to decipher the difference, but how long did it take you to get your call locked in?
I've been 5 years, and I'm still crafting my elk
You use a big tube, the tube.
So yeah, I like a diaphragm reed.
Okay.
And I carry a bugle tube in my pack, and diaphragm. You can do any diaphragm call. You can do cow sounds. You can do calf sounds. You can do really all the bugles. You got to find the type of mouth reed that fits your mouth the best. 2017 when we went, we hunted basically over ponds most of the time. Sat on ponds. Actually killed my first elk in the first year I ever went. Nice. Sitting over pond. Elk was coming out very last day of the hunt, coming to get a drink of water. Shot him at last light. After 2017, I realized me and the patience I have of sitting on my butt the entire day over water, I can't do it. I like finding the elk, moving in, calling them in.
Campaign style.
Yeah,
up close and personal style.
Trying to get them close, trying to call them in, and so after that year, I said, that first year I realized, man, I have extremely huge passion for elk hunting. I mean, I was absolutely hooked.
Speak of, by the way, our elk logo was designed for this man. Just so y'all know,
I begged him for it.
Our elk logo, everything that STX has done with elk was designed for the Brzezowski family. And Travis all day, every day.
So after that year, I said, I'm gonna learn how to elk call. So I work in Yoakum, which is 40 miles a day, 40 miles one way. I listen to podcasts after podcasts after podcast. I carried my bugle tube in my mouth reed in my car, just listening and learning the different tactics.
Sounds like me with turkey hunting
of elk calling. Paul Medell, he's a guy that he has a lot of videos out there. Listen to Elk Shape, Joel Turner. Listen to him. All the guys you hear about on through the YouTube videos and podcasts. Listen to those, and I'd listen to their tactics, and I'd put in the mouth reed, put my phone on record while I was driving, and I'd call, and I would call, and I would call, and then I'd go back whenever I had a free time, and I would listen to it. And like, how did that sound? Well, that sounded like shit, and so I got to where I feel like I'm pretty proficient caller. Know, what to call, when to call, what sounds to make at certain times. So it really, and I'm still learning. There's still certain parts of my calling that I want to improve on. Sometimes I let out a call, and I'm like, oh my God, that sounded like crap, and then an elk responds to it, and you're like, wow, it just
obviously not that bad.
Yeah. So going back to day in elk hunting, hike up, let out a location bugle, and the first thing you do is you pray you hear something respond. And if nothing responds, it doesn't mean they're not there.
Means they ain't talking.
Yeah, that just means they're not talking. That's one of the disadvantages about going early September is they may not be talking, especially if it's hot, if they don't get that weather change. And so, if they do respond, well, now you know where to go. Now you know you can go after them. If they do not respond, then it's kind of hiking around, looking at ponds, seeing fresh tracks, fresh signs of scat around ponds, see if they've been hitting wallows, certain type of stuff.
So when you let out a bugle and say you hear something back, you're like, all right, cool. It's just you and Travis. Y'all, all right, we're gonna go this way. How good is their eyesight
Oh,
to spot you?
it's I mean, their
I mean,
eyesight.
we talk about turkey hunting a
Yeah,
lot, and we
yeah.
know that their eyesight is probably
So-
the best in wild game. But how good is their eyesight to spot you?
So their eyesight is good, but their eyesight don't have nothing on their nose. Elk can smell you. Elk hunting, you have to hunt the wind.
Okay.
You absolutely have to hunt the wind. You can. I mean, you think about it. Elk hunting, you're stalking through the woods. You can pretty much stand next to a tree and draw back and shoot. That's my second elk I shot. I was basically standing next to a tree, and he didn't have a clue what I was, but I had the wind right. The elk hunting, you have to hunt the wind. That's more important. And elk are smart. If they hear a sound, it's like they have a sense. It can be extremely solid, thick timber, but they have a sense when that elk call goes off, they know exactly where that call came from. And so it's not so much as their eyesight is good, it's like their keenliness of where that call came from. And they are typically gonna circle on the downwind side and know exactly.
Smart.
Oh yeah, no, they're an extremely smart animal.
So here's my question. So when you hear the call back, when you get a response in the mountains, I can only imagine what that kind of echo is like. How do you know where to go? I feel like I would be lost.
So let me tell you, I tell you what not to do. This was 2021. It's a pretty funny story. Well, it wasn't. It was opening day of elk season. Me and Travis hiked up the mountain. We get on this edge of the mountain, and let me go back. 2020, we found this meadow. We call it the honey hole. We had that year. We had found this big meadow. 3 different days in a row, we had like 8 different bulls.
Oh, nice.
That we had encounters with. At one day, I've got videos of 6 different bulls. The problem was they were all spikes, 3 points, which you can't shoot. They've got to have at least 4 points on one side or a brow tine of at least 5 inches. These were all young elk, but you could tell just the area. I'm like, dude, this is a honey hole. You can tell they come. A lot of them live back here. It's way back off the beaten path. Not a lot of people want to go this far in to find these things. And so what we did the next year, I said, I had a plan. I'd been planning on it the entire year. I said, opening morning, we are hiking up the mountain that overlooks that meadow, and we're going to see right at first light if they're coming off that meadow. So, man, we get up there before dark. We're sitting there, and we found a top of the mountain. It's this, like I said, it's this solid, thick oak brush, and we found this one spot that's probably 30 yards by 10 yards of bare rock, and you can see the meadow down below. Everything else, all you saw was the oak brush. So we get up there, and right at first light, man, I let out a bugle. And Grant, this is opening weekend, so I didn't really anticipate hearing anything. As soon as I let out a bugle, a bull responds. Like, sounded like it was a couple hundred yards down the mountain to our right. And I'm like, hell yeah, we got one to respond. And so I said, let's just give it a bit and see what's going to happen. So waited 5 minutes. I let out a bugle. Well, I'm like, he done moved 200 yards this way. So he's this bull is to our left. I said, he must be traveling this way, And so we're like, man, we got 2 bulls in this basin, or a single bull we know we can go after. So we're sitting there, out in the open. I've got my bow behind me, and I'm like, let's just sit in here and see what happens. We're just gonna kind of glassy if anything comes in. Travis is sitting over here, and we're sitting on rocks, with our backpacks on, bows on the ground, and I hear something, and I was like, man, what the hell was that? And I was like, what the heck is that noise? And sitting there looking at Travis, and all of a sudden something catches my eye, and I've got this oak brush kind of right in front of me to my right, and then where then my vantage point, I can see everything else.
Mm.
And next thing I know, a bull walks out 5 yards
Oh,
from us,
snap.
and it's a 5 by 5. He's not huge, but I'd shoot him. Like
How
I
about
mean,
Right.
that's
oh,
something that you would have shot?
so that's a let me. Okay, we will kind of move. I'll come back to the story, but so here's my theory on elk hunt. The unit we hunt, it's not known for having huge bulls. In the 5 years we've went, we have saw an absolute giant. Um, but getting to him was they're very smart, especially when they have cows. The amount of money I spend on a tag, the amount of money of the gear that goes into everything, to go up there for a week and a half, to me it's all about opportunity. First legal bull that walks out, I'm taking it. I'm not waiting for a absolute trophy because there's no guarantee you'll see one. Now, if I was with a guide or something like that and paying a lot of money,
A little different.
for a guide fee where you have kind of this expectation of getting a big one, that's one thing. But public land, doing it on your own,
Yeah.
my number one priority is to have elk meat. So so yes, 5 by 5 came out. Pretty nice bull. He'd have been bigger than the first bull I killed, which was a 5 by 5 as well. Uh, but he comes out and I'm just frozen, and I'm like, Travis. And I kind of point, and he looks. He's like, oh my god,
Was it just
you
staring
know.
at y'all?
He was just staring at us. He knew exactly where that bugle came from, and
Dang.
he had snuck in from way down on the bottom. He had snuck in up to the top to see, check it out. And
Wow.
and I'm frozen, and I kind of slowly try to reach to grab my bow. That bull busted out, and he went down the mountain. Okay, so I'm like, son of a gun, we ruined that opportunity. Well, I let out a. I'm like, you know what? Let me just call, see if he'll respond. So I let out a call. God dang, bull responds, and this one is the one kind of that came from the second bull that responded early in the morning to our left. And I'm like, God dang, man. I was like, I guess I don't know if that's him. So I bugled again. Well, I could hear in the tone from the response, but was getting a little bit more aggressive. And so I kind of got a little bit more aggression in my call. And you could hear this bull. He's coming up after us. And they cover a lot of ground very, very quick. I
I
mean,
imagine they're
it's
massive.
oh yeah. And they can cover 100 yards in a matter of seconds. Well, this bull rips again. I'm like, oh, he's pissed. And so I let out a challenge bugle, which is, hey, let's freaking fight. And I mean, after I let out that challenge bugle, this bull is coming. And that morning, that morning, I was going to be the caller. Travis was going to be the shooter. And in that position we were at that moment, I mean, the plan basically completely changed. I grabbed my bow and I jumped into this little hole where I had the kind of the oak brush surrounding me.
Mhm.
Travis took off on kind of the upside of the way the bull was coming into some bushes. So I'm kind of facing the length of this little opening we're at, and Travis is up on top of it. The bull's coming up the mountain, and I mean he's coming. He's just screaming, and I mean you can hear the bushes moving, and I knock an arrow, and I go ahead and draw back, and this bull comes up and he clears. He's 3 yards from me, and it's a completely different bull than the one that snuck up on us earlier. This one he's big. He's got shredded velvet on one side. He was badass. And I'm drawn back, and their eyes are on the side of their head,
Mhm.
and he steps, and I need him to clear. All I see is his front shoulder, and I need him to like literally move 6 more inches because I was going to send it at 3 yards away. It
Heck
wasn't
yeah.
it wasn't no putting a pin. You were just shooting,
Yeah.
and he starts to take that step, and he caught me out of the corner of my eye,
Mhm.
and I have this. It's still so vivid. I mean, when he puts his foot down, and the amount of muscle. I mean, he tenses up. He's gonna wheel around and go back down. I mean, just the definition. I mean, just how big they are, and the definition, and how much muscles in their front shoulders. I mean, he stops, and he just before I can even think about shooting, he's done wheeled around, and he goes back down the mountain.
Oh
You
man.
know, first damn morning, have a bull at 5-10 yards that comes out, and then have a bull that comes at 3 yards away. It was flipping rush, man.
Yeah, I bet. Holy
I couldn't.
shit.
Oh my god! And to have something that big,
Yeah.
something that big within 3 yards.
So I ended up killing that bull. That bull that I ended up killing him on day 6 of that hunt. Later on that hunt, but so typically, depending on where you're at on the mountain, by 10 o'clock, elk are bedded. All right, they're bedded. If you don't know where they bed, our view is why just because a lot of times it's hard to get them to answer a call once they're in their bed. If you know where they're bedded, you can kind of do some tactics with some cow calling, some calf calling. Maybe you can get a response. But just to blindly walk through this where we hunt, we don't want to leave scent all over everywhere. So
Right.
a lot of times 10 o'clock, we'll walk, get off the mountain, go back to camp, hang out, eat lunch, drink a couple whiskey drinks, play some dominoes, do whatever at the whole camp thing, and then go back out in the afternoon. It's a little bit different. It's a lot of that is maybe sitting on like a meadow, sitting somewhere close to water, and kind of staging until you can let out a call and maybe hear where they're at, and then kind of ambushing in. But and then hunt till last 5 minutes of every day is probably the best time to elk hunt. Last 5 minutes a day. So a lot of people say they want to get back to their mule or four-wheeler or whatever before dark. But if you hike off the mountain during that time, you're losing that's the best time to elk hunt. You want to stay on the mountain, stay where you're at till absolute dark, because that's when they're getting off their beds, coming to feed in the meadows or get a drink of water.
So you just want to stay up there.
You see
It's the best thing to do, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what do you do? If you don't know where they're bedded, but you still want to stay up on the mountain because eventually.
What do you do?
So what do you do? Bypass time.
Take a nap. Eat a peanut butter sandwich.
There you go.
No, I mean you can walk around and go look at ponds. Maybe sit over a pond. In 2020, the bull my dad killed, he killed it at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
So when the ruts kicked off for the elk and they're rutting trying to get the cows, I mean, they can get up out of bed and chase them. I mean, they're just like any other animal. When the rut kicks off, they get stupid.
They do. They get
stupid, and so that would make sense why you kill one at 2:30 in the afternoon. So probably chasing.
No, that one actually. So that bull. This was pretty cool. So, like I said, my dad went elk hunting like 5 years or so in the 90s. Never got anything. They saw elk. They saw elk every year, but never got an opportunity to shoot one. So in that 2020 year, when we went, I had a bull that, man, I had him fired up. I had this bull at about 5 yards away. I had called him in. He was fired up. He didn't have any cows. He was a pretty decent 5x5. He was very aggressive. I had him at, like I said, 5 yards away. I was behind an oak bush, trying to get in position, hoping he would come out. Well, he comes to the other side of this oak bush and just raking the hell out of it. I mean, just right on the other side of me. I mean, thought his horns were going to come through where I could almost grab him. That morning, I had him at 5 yards. I had him at 30 yards where I was drawed back. All he did is stick his head up from behind a bush. He would not clear the opening. It's hard when that morning I was kind of by myself calling. It's very, very hard to, I say it's tough to do it solo. The very next day, we went after that. Me and Travis went after that elk again. That's when we really found out how much ground they can cover. We bugled this elk. He bugles. We could see him. He's 150 yards up the mountain. We were separated by a big drainage Well, he's kind of coming down. We were on the other side of the drainage. He gets to 100 yards on the other side, and I let out a bugle, which is probably the dumbest thing to do because he was kind of looking to see where that call was coming from. What we should have done, we should have already gotten to position and then let out a call. That year, Travis did not have an elk tag. That was his first year going. He just went to kind of get the experience and do a little bit of calling for me. I let out like an idiot. We're both standing there together on the other side. I let out a bugle. This bull just takes off, coming down, coming back up. In a matter of 5 seconds, we're trying to get into position. Ideally, you wanted the way that bull was coming, you wanted Travis over here calling and me over here on the side to shoot him broadside. Well, once he started coming, I was right here, Travis was behind me, and the bull comes out, and I mean, he's just looking right at us because he knew exactly where that elk call came from. And I mean, I was drawed back, but again, they're smart. He wouldn't completely come. Actually, he was very hard quartering to me, and I wasn't about to make the shot, try to punch through a scap, wanting to get somewhat broadside. Anyways, that bull ended up retreating up the mountain. This was probably 10:30 in the morning. At I think it was 2:30 in the afternoon. My dad went and hunted a pond on top of that mountain, and that bull came out to get a drink of water at 2:30, and Dad shot him at 20 yards. It's pretty cool. It's a spring-fed pond up on this mountain, and the bull. He said he could hear something, and he saw the legs coming down the mountain. I mean, like just perfect. Comes out 20 yards. Dad's basically sitting kind of behind two trees where he got a little opening, and I mean, just bull never knew he was there. Drew back, and that got his first bull. It was
That's awesome, man.
pretty
But that's a
emotional.
good feeling.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure we got tons of stories, but for the sake of the time part, right? Because I mean, I could talk this all day, but I do want to go over some. When we talk about building a bow setup for elk, I want you to go over what it is that you like, what you use, what equipment you have, and what you are trying to do. Your arrow setup, your broadhead, your bow. What exactly are you doing for you to go elk hunting?
Yeah. So the years I've been, I've ran basically whatever bow I've had at the time, and that was anywhere from at that time hunting expedition. I think I took an elite one year, 70-pound bow. Arrow anywhere from 450 to 470 is what I was shooting. For elk hunting, I still have it. I don't use it for whitetail hunting, but I run the quivalizer for elk hunting, just to try to minimize the weight that I have on my bow and have to pack around, because you gotta pack that. You just carry a lot of weight, a lot of different stuff in your pack, and so try to minimize the weight. Run a quivalizer on my bow, and then
which, for those of you who don't know, the quivalizer is a quiver that is attached to a stabilizer, and the stabilizer mount, so your arrows actually become part of your stabilizer. They kind of fan out, no longer on the side of your bow. They kind of come down straight out, just like a stabilizer. So, because you didn't know.
So it basically eliminates the need for a true stabilizer, and typically I run a front bar and back bar, so that kind of eliminates the need for all that. You're just running, and it's pretty lightweight, so save a lot of weight there. And then for a sight, I have an option 8 sight, which it's basically a slider sight. The housing is oval, but the actual whole scope does not move. It's independent. Your independent pin. I run 4 pins. I run a fixed 20, 30, 40, and then I have the little slider pin at 50. So the pin actually slides within the housing, so you don't have to worry about rain.
Running out of range.
And then also, what's nice about it is the 3 pins fixed. They actually swing open, so you just have that single if you want to make sure you got a good view. But 450, 400, to depend on what arrow setup, 460, 465 arrow on the bow. And the biggest thing is practice long range. I'll shoot out to 120 yards for practice.
How many times a day would you do it daily or is it just weekly? Do you feel like it needs to be practiced throughout the year? Like, can someone literally just, elk season's, a month away. I should probably pick up my bow and start, or should it be like,
No. So the good thing, that's a good thing about tack being in April, is to get ready for tack, shooting those long range shots. I mean, obviously, I shoot all year round, but really getting my bow dialed in for tack around starting really in January. And usually, like my practice, I try to do it once or twice a week. A lot of times, well, before the field range is now open, I'd go out to Jimmy Kalin's house or my dad's house and set up. And I mean, really the minimal distance. I mean, jump out of the truck, first shots, cold bore right at 60 yards, and then it's out further from 60 to 120. Um, Very rarely do I shoot anything less than 60 on the practice.
so these are also hunts that this is where having your third axis, on point is super, super important.
Very, very, very critical.
Right.
And unfortunately, you can set it in a vise and try to set your third axis, but really there's nothing that compares to actually trying to shoot it in. And it's so hard to get it actually shot in where we live. Um, and so that's why, like when you go to
It's
tack,
challenging, yeah.
no, yeah, it's very challenging being flat. I mean, you can't get up high enough to truly sight it in. You can get it close in a vise, but
Nothing sits because the bow, you never know about how it's going to sit in your hand. The vice is has it to where that bow is sitting perfectly leveled. Whereas in your hand, specifically your hand, it could be sitting a little bit off.
torque,
And
yeah,
that's whenever I agree with you.
Yeah, the Hamsky
100%.
third axis leveler is really
it's
it's a good tool to
it's a
have,
it's a
but
good tool.
nothing
Yeah,
beats 20-yard elevation change, 20-foot elevation change shooting in the third axis.
yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
beats that.
And that's what I typically use is the Hamsky, and it like I said, it gets it close, but
Yeah.
you can use some fine tuning from
So
there.
what about broadheads? What broadhead you gonna run while you're in Colorado?
So my first elk I killed with a slick trick Viper trick, and actually had excellent. They fly excellent. That bull, he was actually at 58 yards. He was coming to a pond. Actually, me and my uncle Pat were hunting together. He came out, and when I stopped him, he kind of turned, and he was actually slightly quartering to me. And fortunately, I didn't hit scapula or the big arm bone. I actually went in front of the shoulder and shot him, and it actually came out right behind the shoulder. So really a perfect shot. He ran 20 yards, fell over. But that slick trick did great stuff. It went in and actually it went got two holes in him. It came out right behind the shoulder. The second elk,
And this is with a 450 grain arrow, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
we're not going to sit here and be like, because we hear it a lot. People, I need to build a 600 grain arrow. I'm hunting elk.
Oh no,
450 grains is more than adequate to get a pass
that
through
was
or two
that
holes.
was a gold tip Pierce, 4 millimeter. I think it was 281 feet a second. 281 feet a second coming out of my that expedition that I shot him with.
281
feet per second.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Which I typically, that's where for me, for any bow, I like my arrows flying 280 to 295 ish. That's what I try to build my arrows around. Just for broadhead awesome flight, especially at long distance.
Right, because if you start throwing 310 feet a second on a lightweight arrow, a fixed blade broadhead starts to plane. It starts to have tuning becomes an issue. That much velocity, and you adding vanes in the front of the arrow with a fixed blade, and then you're trying to fly it that fast. Pretty tough to get it to be on the money.
I've never until last year. Last year I killed my first whitetail with the mechanical. Did an absolute amazing job. That was a Grim Reaper fatal steel. Shot that axis deer with the T2. That was unbelievable results. Been asked the question a lot of, would you shoot an elk with a mechanical?
That's my next question.
Man, I don't know. It's hard to answer that. I mean, last thing I want is something to happen and you actually get a shot opportunity, which are few and far come, and then something happened, and then you question, man, what would have happened if I'd have shot a fixed head?
And you're kicking yourself.
And you're kicking yourself. And so just to guarantee, and the second bull I shot was with a solid, the brand Solid broadhead. They're
Okay.
they're they're very they're expensive. They're like same price as an iron wheel. They're vented. They fly extremely well. Um, I was extremely disappointed in the results. I called in this bull to 36 yards. Absolutely smoked him. I mean, the most beautiful shot you ever seen, right behind the shoulder. Um, and when I shoot him, I literally watch my about 4 inches of arrow in my fletchings as it's going through him. It just falls to the ground. I'm like, what the heck? And saw the bull take off. Well, I went out to where he was standing, and I don't know what happened through the shot because entrance was perfect, double lung, top of the heart. Exit was right there too. It kind of tells you how tough these animals are. I had 4 inches of arrow in my fletching on the ground, and then I had the last 8 inches of arrow with the broadhead on the ground.
So the arrow broke in half inside, or in two
Arrow
pieces.
broke, both
Yeah.
ends broke off and dropped to the
Yeah.
ground,
So now you got a shaft
and I had a shaft completely blocking this hole
Oh
from
my
blood.
from blood.
God.
And I was by myself that afternoon. I watched the bull where he went in. He had some cows with him. I'm like, oh, dude, he's dead. He is absolute smoked. And I couldn't believe he didn't die within the, you know, where he ran into the brush, which was like 60 to 90 yards. And so I kind of walked over there, and it's still a little bit light left. And I'm like, didn't see him laying anywhere. I didn't see no blood. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Oh.
I actually went back to camp. That year is me and my uncle Pat and my brother-in-law Travis that went. My dad didn't go that year, and I went back. I was like, "Hey guys, shot a bull, absolutely smoked him, but we got to go find him because I didn't see a whole lot of blood." And we uh we ended up hiking back in after dinner that night. Gave him some time. Never found any blood. Found like 2 drops of blood. And, in my mind, I'm like, dude, I smoked this bull, and probably in their minds are
And it
like,
eats at you.
yeah,
Oh,
and then in
man.
their minds are like, we ain't seeing no blood.
Did you really
yeah,
smoke this
yeah.
thing?
And anyway, so that's where my brother-in-law got the nickname Bloodhound because he sniffed this bull out. They stink so bad during the rut, and this bull was rutting. They stink like a cow, like a livestock pen. They absolutely stink. And Travis kind of followed his nose, and that bull was actually only like 40 yards inside the brush where he went in, but he had kind of went a different direction. And sure enough, well, that's what we found out is the holes were completely plugged with that arrow, the way it
Oh
broke
my
off.
gosh.
Yeah. Just
Was
and
it
so
same
as soon
arrow, gold
as
tip?
that was a gold tip,
The
yeah.
gold tip,
And as
yeah.
soon as I mean, he just was bleeding internally, nothing was coming out because that hole was plugged. But
Wow.
yeah,
That's
Ooh.
that was probably not common.
no.
That's crazy.
And most so the guys that we hunt with, we all fixed blade broadhead. Now we've kind of all evolved to iron wheels.
So let me ask you this, and I mean this because from a standpoint where I kind of stand, um, I've asked the same question. Now, granted, I've never done it yet. I will one day, but I have seen other people, including our boy John Dudley. I will not hesitate to shoot a T2 at a bull.
Yeah.
If someone came to me right now and said, "Hey, I got a trophy bull ready for you. I'm guiding you. Let's go." I'm putting a box of T2s and we're heading out.
Yeah.
No question asked. I'm good with it. And flipping what you said, right? Because how many times, and I've seen it happen multiple times. How many times have we shot an animal with a fixed blade? We're talking, inch in the 16th, inch in the, an eighth, whatever, and the blood be just not there because the holes aren't big. And so, flipping on that, you say, well, you would hate to shoot a mechanical and then you wonder, well, damn, what if I'd have shot a fixed blade? Well, I'd say, damn, what if I'd have shot a mechanical? Because
Yeah.
the T2, the slap cut on the T2, you're gonna leave a 3-inch gash
Yeah.
in an animal, and so it'd be pretty hard for a 4 millimeter arrow to clog up a 3-inch gash. So on the flip side of that, like I wouldn't hesitate to
Yeah.
shoot at. Now, I'm not saying I would shoot any mechanical. I'm saying that the G5 T2, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I would do
but
it.
this is what makes this, archery and hunting in itself. It's such a perspective sport. It's all based on someone.
Oh yeah.
It's everybody's got their own opinion and their own like how tos on their hunting. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like I respect what you're saying. I get that, and I follow that honestly because yeah, it is one of those things where it's like a what if. But it's also we've had such success with the fix, so I get where he's coming from as well. Because I mean, we've shot and these gashes have. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
so
No.
so I get where you're going
No.
with
And
that.
that's
You've had
and
that
I'm not
success,
and like I
so
said, I'm not saying my up until last year.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I had a very dead set opinion that fixed blade only.
right.
That was it. But after the results I've had with the last two animals
little
I've
hard, it's a
shot
little
with,
toss-up.
oh no, it is.
Mhm.
It's a decision.
That's a hard one.
I'd probably have a couple in the quiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and in retrospect, in reference to someone like me who's never hunted an elk, other people who might be watching have never hunted an elk or even touched one for that matter.
Dreaming
The toughness of their hide, right? The animal. How does it compare in reference to a hog or like a ram or the aoudad that we killed? How does it compare in reference to that? Are they worse? Are they about the same? Like when you talk about the thickness of their hide and trying to get through there.
Yeah.
In reference to those.
From the really, I got lucky on the first bull I shot. We were able to load the bull in the back of the truck. We were able to, which doesn't happen. We basically took a sawzall, cut off his legs, and we put him in the back of the truck. So you got to go back to camp. You had a lot of hands. It was easier to clean. Second bull I killed, we cleaned him out in the field, and that's when you really realize, like, I mean, their hide. I bought a knife, a War Maker knife that had a gut hook on it, thinking, oh man, it's gonna be so nice just to split the skin. Their hide was so thick, and their hair it's extremely long and it's very thick. Coupling that with their actual hide, gut hook couldn't even work. It was too thick to get a gut hook in it. So their hide it's very thick. And
so
the
really,
hair,
you couldn't really relate that to
no,
any animal.
nothing. Every now and then you'll get one of them big woolly hogs, that somewhat relatable, but just very very thick skinned.
And
Very
their
long
their
hair.
fur, yes, like I bet you their fur is like very coarse, super
It's coarse,
thick,
very long and very thick for
Mhm.
for them to survive
multiple
winters.
coats.
Yeah.
Because they don't have just the one; they have multiple in order.
Yeah.
I can see where, yeah, and their skin being so thick because they got to be able to adapt to their environment, and with it getting so cold, yeah, I can definitely see that. See, that just makes it all the more.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's more of the debate,
man,
right? So then it's
yeah.
like, it all comes back to shot placement and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Of course, we all know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, yeah.
Man, that would be a toss up though. Like it really that I can see where you're fighting with yourself
Yeah.
though with that because yeah, yeah. Especially with someone who's had the hands on experience, you've cleaned it on stuff like that and all that schnaz. See, that'd be a tough one for sure. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, so I would I'd go over there with some T2s, but I'd go ahead and put a two. I'd go ahead and put a Tulu in the quiver.
Yeah.
Toss a Tulu in there.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
throw a
just in case.
Tulu or a iron will in the quiver just in case.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were using Pierce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kinetic
So
Pierce
so
Platinum.
would you?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, when Scott Hamlin owned Leading Edge, that's where we went before STX was around. That's where we went, and he's the one that turned us on to those arrows. Being able, that was kind of like the first arrow that you could stack weight with the little gold tip fact system, and so that's what typically built the arrow, and then put like 20 to 30 grains, screwed those in. He's the one that turned us on to those arrows, and there for a while, me and Dad shot them for several years.
This is where I love these kind of talks because now it just makes me like, what would you use?
Me?
Yeah. Curiosity, let's go.
Okay, so previously to this podcast, coffee talk, I probably would tell you that I would use for an elk. I'm a 5mm guy.
Right.
Okay,
That's
I
why I asked
don't,
that
I
question.
do not like 4mm arrows. There's no particular reason. When I first started hunting, 4 millimeter used components called deep six, right?
Mhm.
And you had a very hard time finding components for deep six. You're very limited in what you can get. So I just stuck to 5 mil. This is what I've used. Now they've evolved and now everything's
Mm-hmm.
universal. But regardless, I would shoot a 5 millimeter. Prior to this, I would shoot a probably going on elk hunt a Victory V1 Rip SS arrow, stainless steel arrow
Okay.
is more likely what I would have shot at an elk,
Mhm.
because I don't think you need no 630 grain arrow. A Victory Rip SS and a 300 spine on my draw length, and this is all stock components. I'd probably be somewhere around 490,
Mhm.
maybe 505, and because I've built them for hogs before, and
Okay.
they've done outstanding and no problem. So I would probably build that arrow for myself. But now I say that now here I am venturing out into new waters. I'm trying out the Black Eagle Focus arrows, which is a 4 millimeter
I was
shaft,
about to say it's four
and it
millimeters.
weighs 457 grains. And so far, I'm kind of playing around with it. I haven't put it on an animal yet, but playing around with that and the new Darton Sequel 33 ST2. We're kind of pairing together, and it's been driving. The arrows are hitting hard. So you just never know. I'm still going to keep my victories in the back pocket, but
Mhm.
I have been dabbing into the
You just
Black
gotta
Eagle.
you gotta put it to the test.
Black Eagle side. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any real world hunting experience with it yet, but I will give it
Mhm.
a shot here
Yeah,
soon. Here
that's
soon.
gonna be really cool. Yeah, and hopefully, you know, speak about an elk hunt, man, and hopefully we can get into one of those here soon because dadgummit, you make it sound like it's just a dream, dude.
No, and with the way you're talking, I'm so addicted to turkey hunting. And March is like it's game. You prepare all year for this,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I mean, I'll spend day in and day out. I will drive chasing turkeys wherever I got to go chase them because it's so much fun. I can imagine elk hunting being the same way. You're trying to hear that call, and when you do, you just get this feeling. You're like, all right, let's go get
Oh
them.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with a gobbler.
Yeah.
You hear that gobble, you just like your eyes get big. You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
here we go.
Heart starts beating.
Heart starts beating. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I don't. I've killed a lot of animals with a bow, and this turkey I killed this last year was the one that made me shake. Give you that buck fever profusely, like I just would not stop. But it was fun.
But I can only
Addicted to that
imagine.
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah,
So
and just imagine with that, you get that feeling because you have that passion, that drive. You worked so hard for that very moment, and that goes back to what you're saying. You did. Like you said, you were sitting in a car day in day out, trying to master these calls, recording yourself. So I can imagine you having the exact same feeling on your first bull.
You know, so this is where it's
Oh my gosh, are
but
you a different breed?
no,
Did
no,
you
no,
not
no,
shake?
no. Didn't shake till after the fact because, unfortunately, if I both elk, if I had to sit there and watch them mill around and give myself time to get nervous,
Mm.
guarantee you I would have. But both bulls, it happened so fast. This bull came out with these cows, trying to figure out how to get him to me. So I basically put the bugle tube between my arm where I could still get to it, and I let out a bugle, basically projecting the call back behind me to make it seem like it was coming from behind me.
Mm.
Basically, it turned the bull, and like I said, he at that time he was 90 yards away. He got to 36 yards within seconds. So at that
Oh,
time, I'm hooking onto the release, drawing back because I want to be drawn back before he gets there. He gets to like 36 yards. I let out a cow call. He stops, looks, and that's when I shot. And it wasn't until as soon as the arrow goes and I saw where I hit him, then it was just this emotion that just. So fortunately, I didn't have time on both
woo.
bulls to have this, the super nervous because I even with like whitetails. Oh my god, I get to this day.
I shake all.
I have
Mhm.
coons come out to the feeder
Start
like
shaking.
here, and I start shaking on
I
those.
shake on coons all the time.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
fucking
like,
weird. But so telling on that, I want to touch base on one thing before we finish up, right? You say I didn't have time to get nervous. Obviously, this stuff, whether it be turkey hunting, whitetail, you're chasing a buck on a trail, you're chasing elk through Colorado mountains. It can all happen so fast. What release are you using? Are we using the hinge? Are
Mm.
we using
oh,
the thumb? Are we using the wrist rocket? Because if it can happen that fast,
yep.
I can imagine a hinge. people who do hunt with a back tension release, I can imagine that being kind of a small issue.
So at the time,
This question is going to come up, so
oh yeah,
I want you to answer
no,
that
heck
right
no.
away.
So both elk I shot with the wrist strap, okay, because that's what I was shooting at the time. Now, and I went through years of target panic with a wrist strap, and even to this day, I'll put one on and I can shoot first 10 to 20 shots absolutely perfect. Wrap it around, use back tension to let it go off, and then I'll start slapping the hell out of it. Now I do nothing but hunt with a hinge, and that's what I would hunt my elk with when I go back. I'll hunt them with a hinge.
And so if
Mhm.
you were sitting there and you had time to let yourself get nervous, and this bull comes up, and now you're shaking with the back tension, do you feel like you have practiced enough to where you could forcefully rotate that thing and let it go if you need to?
I have
Because I tried
more.
this shit last month and it did not work out well for me.
I have more confidence. To me, if I get nervous, I have more confidence in getting a hinge to shoot versus I've shot animals being nervous with the wrist strap
Make a
and
bad shot.
make a terrible shot. Killed them, spined them, drop them to the ground, but I will absolute jerk the hell out of the trigger. I mean, I will just yeah, send it, and then you're like, oh my god, like why, For some reason, with the hinge, even when I do get nervous, I have 100% confidence I'm making a good shot, and it's going to be a surprise. Problem is with an elk, if you have to have it, if you have to, it has to happen now. Well, you know, unfortunately, I'm going to execute the shot and try to make that perfect shot. If I
Yeah.
miss that opportunity, you know,
And
it is.
in the words of Levi Morgan, if you have to make it happen right now, it's probably a shot you shouldn't take anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
That was in the words of Levi Morgan on another video. Actually, it's a Scott Longhorn video he was doing. But anyway, so with that being said, we're shooting back tension, click, no click.
No click with a safety. It has a safety,
Okay.
and with the and I really shoot it's a True Ball Sweet Spot Pro Flex with the safety. I've shot it for a number of years, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you need to shoot a hinge without no safety," and it's not about the confidence of drawing a hinge. I specifically do it for Colorado and never know the angle of the shot. And angle of shot to me, I mean, you're kind of your angle of your hand changes. And I want to make sure when I draw that thing back, it ain't gonna prematurely go off. I want to be able to put on the safety, draw it back, unclick the safety, then execute the shot. And that's just my preference.
Preference, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is all
Yeah.
preference,
Yeah.
because that's awesome that you do engine. It really does. It goes back to, you saying, oh, well, man, I don't know if I'm going to do the hinge. I'm going to probably stick with a button.
Mhm.
But this is really cool. This is why I love doing videos like this, because the way we hunt is can be totally different than the way somebody else hunts.
Well,
I mean, and that's the beautiful thing about hearing
we're
it
talking
is
about the
from
arrows. I told you the arrows I have 450 to 475. Right now I'm shooting a Victory, a VAP that's 416.
Mhm.
I wouldn't rebuild an arrow to go elk hunting. I'd use that
You take
400.
that for
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that.
You tell you, well,
Yeah.
you know, the Ranch Fairy guys are gonna be out there. Oh my
Oh yeah.
God, you don't have no FOC,
Yeah.
you don't have no arrow weight, but you ain't gonna do anything that blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're
Every
confident in your
hunt.
equipment,
Oh
then
yeah. For
that's just
sure.
gonna make you a better archer anyway.
For sure.
And again, we go back to shot placement
Yeah.
more than anything than we do with. I mean, I know arrow weight matters, trying
Yeah.
to punch through big hide and thick hair, but damn man, I mean,
Yeah.
shot
That's where
placement
also the
matters.
placement, and that's where the broadhead comes into play.
Oh, it's yeah.
I mean, dadgummit, those. I
Shot
mean, I want to.
placements
Yeah.
to me. Shot placements the biggest.
Shot placement, and knowing your equipment.
Yep.
I mean,
Knowing your
practicing,
equipment.
Yeah.
practicing, obviously, like, and then I'm gonna touch on one subject, obviously, before we get off here. But we'll say this, and I mean this respectfully to anybody, but I cannot tell you how many people we see come in here, and it's like they tinker and tinker and tinker, and they think, oh, my strings are spun this way, so my arrow is clocking left. I'm gonna go left helical. I'm gonna go right helical. Blah 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 blah. All this crazy stuff, and it's like, dude, sometimes as a shop owner, you bite your tongue.
Yeah.
But that's I can say this on this podcast because that's what we're doing. We're being honest. A lot of times I'll bite my tongue, but yeah, man, like if that's what you want, we'll do it. Whatever the case may be. oh, let me add 10 more grains in the tip of my arrow. Maybe it'll help in penetration. But man, if people would stop tinkering so
Yeah.
much and just shoot the damn bow,
Mm-hmm.
just practice, just
Yeah.
shoot.
Just shoot.
Go outside and
Yeah.
shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And you will realize that over time you have gotten better and you didn't need to go strip all your arrows and flex left helical
Yeah.
and add 10 more weights in the 10 more grains in the front of your arrow because of this, because of that. Man, just shoot the bow.
This
Well,
is where the tinkering comes from, though, is people who are, they're trying something new or they just redid something, but that redid something, whatever that it was, it may be, or whatever they're practicing, they realize, oh, well, this is a little off. Oh, well, this isn't doing. And they're just naturally going to assume that it's not their shot process. It's not them.
Yeah,
It's
and
got to
and
be
that's
the equipment
and
that's the
that's
problem,
exactly what I'm referring to. It's like you have the people that just that think, man, let me go left hook on all my arrows, and this is gonna make you the world class bow hunting archer. And it's like that is just not the way it works.
no, the rabbit, and I've been I've chased down these rabbit holes of the rabbit holes of archery, and to me, yeah, I'm not good enough of a shot. I'm not gonna outperform the bow in these rabbit holes that we go into. Does it help? I don't know. Just go shoot and practice. Shoot the
Practice.
arrows. Get the reps in.
Yeah, same.
100%.
It's the same thing when you come in. Oh, hey man, can you tell a difference in a V3 and a V1 on victory? 3,000ths of an inch straight to 1,000. Me? No,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
cannot. I cannot. I choose yellow. I like the color.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would not hesitate at all to shoot the green,
No,
which
you
is
spin them and they spin beautifully.
yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
ultimately, we're going to build the arrow and we're going
Yeah.
to cut it, we're going to square it, and we spin it. And if this arrow spins true and the V1 spins true, I'm sorry, but your average person will not notice a difference
Yeah.
in any of that. And when you build the arrow and when you have arrows built by us, we spin every arrow that goes out this door. And so I'm sorry, but like that's why the majority of our arrows in here are stocked in a 3,000th or 2.5s, straightness. And we do stock the 1,000 shafts,
Yeah.
but the majority of arrows that we send out the door are going to be your 3,000 to the point, 250 straightness
really,
because I'm trying to save you guys money
Yeah.
because I don't know that paying the extra 20-30 bucks for 6 arrows is worth it when you don't need to, when you can spend that money doing something
Yeah.
else. And
Yeah.
and ultimately I'm confident in myself and Josie and our staff that we can build good arrows in a 3,000 straightness where you don't need to
Yeah.
spend the extra money on a 1,000s. But ultimately, I can't tell a difference in the damn arrows, and I feel like I'm a good shot.
Yeah.
I feel like we practice all the time, and that's I want to touch base on one thing. Talk about elk hunting just real quick. Our field range, we have 2 elk out there. We have a Reinhardt elk and a Delta McKenzie. In reference, 'cause I've never seen one in real life. In
Mhm.
reference to a real life bull, how do those compare in size? So when you're at our field range, if you want to
Mhm.
practice elk hunting on that target, we
Yep.
have 2 out there. How can someone come out to our range and feel about that target?
Yeah. So the big, I call it the big bull, the one with the bigger horns. Which brand is that?
That's going to be the Reinhardt on the right.
That's
Yep.
That's that. The Reinhardt is probably more true to the actual size of the animal, and if anything, it's even a little small. Okay,
Okay.
they're a huge animal. I mean, they're
Okay.
huge. Uh, but
But I think
it's
with
probably
the distance, how far out there it is, even at its size, is that more relatable
yeah.
with from
Oh
you
yeah.
know what I mean by
Oh yeah, for
distance
sure, for
wise?
sure. And you got to think. I mean, elk are so big. I mean, you've really lung on an elk. I mean, you've got some wiggle room. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I mean, you've got some room. Uh,
So yeah, we're out there the other night shooting, and I shot high. It
Yeah.
was 76 yards. I shot high, and man, from the range, my light not like a spined animal.
Yeah.
Like, we all walked down with port arrows, and I asked you, I said, Mike, is this a kill shot? And you're like, oh yeah, it's
Oh
a
yeah,
kill shot
for
all
sure.
day. You'd have been high double lung.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was like spine.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
you said it was a kill shot. So, oh well, all right then.
For sure.
I wasn't too terribly upset anymore,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but so yeah, I just want to double check with you about in retrospect the sizing of the targets compared to a real life
No, they're very,
elk.
very, very large animal.
Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
our targets they're a little smaller
Yeah.
than what you would
Maybe, yeah,
expect.
maybe a
Okay,
little smaller.
so
Yeah.
if you can kill shot on our targets, you can definitely
Oh,
kill
for
shot on
sure.
a live elk.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's
Absolutely.
always good to know, right? You'd hate
Yep.
to have a target that's too big
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
fool
then
somebody the other way.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
Dude,
anyway,
I love going on our field range though. That's so much fun.
Oh, it
yeah.
is.
So if you didn't know, our field range is 47 3D targets, mixture, most Delta McKenzie of the mixture Reinhardt's in. We just got the the full size red stag, the apple buck from my heart. The baboon is in the tree, by the way.
It's
Yeah,
awesome. It's
Rafiki's in
awesome.
the tree.
Yep.
We got the Kodiak Grizzly, the full size Kodiak Grizzly. Let me tell you this: it took 3 grown ass men to pick that thing up.
It's huge.
Dude, it was huge and heavy.
Kind of like
Same
that
thing with your
that moose
moose.
target.
Good
That
lord.
moose
The moose
target
target,
is
you're not picking it up.
it is
We have the Delta
huge.
McKenzie moose
Yeah.
out there. You're not picking it up. You have to break it apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
for
It's
sure.
it's like 300 something pounds
Yeah.
of foam.
And it's laying down. I couldn't imagine.
It was
Do they
full.
even make one
Imagine-
like one
I
that's
think
with
Reinhardt.
legs?
I think Reinhardt makes a full size with
Yeah.
legs.
I couldn't
Delta
imagine. Yeah.
McKenzie's is too fucking heavy. You probably break the
Get
legs.
a
man.
forklift to
Yeah, no
set
shit.
it up.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. This is again pro staff shooter Michael Brzezowski on some elk. If you have any questions, I'm sure we can pass them on to him. He can answer them for you. You got anything else, Joe?
Yeah, the only thing that
Sure.
I was going to add is the items that, Mike was talking about and Donnie that they were talking about in this video, we do have online at stxarchery.com. I will drop a link in the comments below.
Speaking of one thing, I want to ask Michael one question before we close. Mike, are you confident in saying that somebody could walk through these doors right here in Edna and get everything that they need to elk hunt right here in this bow shop right now? Dude, is there anything other than like backpacking, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't got that far
Yep.
yet. We're getting there.
Yep.
On a bow setup standpoint, is there anything that you think someone needs that they can't get here?
No, they get it. Everything 100%.
100%.
Everything they need.
Right here.
Between bow, arrows, fully set up, bino harness,
Binos.
Oh,
Rangefinder.
yeah,
Bino.
everything.
I
Everything.
think the only thing right now that I would say that like we need to get. I know I've heard a lot about Phelps game calls.
Yeah. Yep.
I think all we have right now is the Primos.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna work on getting some more elk bugles.
Primos is I have that's what fits my mouth the best is Primos.
Okay.
But
we do have a couple bugle
yeah,
tubes,
yep.
but I do.
No.
I've heard so much good about Phelps.
Yeah.
I want to give him a shot.
Yeah.
Because I do love the Phelps owl hooter.
Oh yeah.
The locator call for turkeys. The heat.
I think the diaphragms I have is actually Primos. My bugle tube is actually a Phelps.
A Phelps.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll definitely work on that. But touching base on that, you can get everything you need on your
100%
bow.
everything you need right here in the shop.
Here. Good.
And-
That's the point.
and on our website.
Yep.
For
Absolutely.
sure. So make sure you guys go check that out. We actually are working. We had this email sent out. We are working on getting lacrosse, so we'll even hopefully have some boots.
Yeah. Some hunting
Yeah,
boots.
like
I know that's
legit,
super
not the mud,
Yeah.
vinyl or what do you call it, mud rubber boots. Actual legit hiking boots we'll have in stock. We're
Water-
not
yeah.
we are not gonna go Crispies. I know we've been asked. I would love it, but they are just on a price point here
Yeah.
that I think people in this area are not going to do much with. We'll
Right.
leave those for order online, but
Yeah.
we're not going to stock Crispies here. We're going to stock lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
Lacrosse makes some good boots.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
$160, I think, $150 for a good set
Very
of hiking
good,
boots to get up in the mountains with.
Yeah.
Right.
And so up there, elk hunting, you need the high top, right? 6-8 inch boots.
Yeah, I think I run a 6 waterproof.
Definitely.
A boot that's good and waterproof is huge.
Which
There you go.
lacrosse has that, so
Yep.
we're gonna go that route. But
Yep, absolutely.
and I will tell everybody watching, if you go to our website, stxarchery.com, you can order whatever arrows you want. They're on there. So there's a box that you can select the length that you want us to cut them. And you can, in that text box, type whatever special instructions you have. Hey, can you please 4-fletch with this wrap and add 20 grains to the insert? You can type that in there. And it'll ask you, do you want to leave them stock veined? Or say, so you'll select no, leave them stock, or you'll select yes, make them for me. And you'll type in that text box what you want, what veins you want. We just got the new boning alpha veins in all the colors. We have Adams Precision Archery wraps here. We have one stringer wraps, so you can do all that. And we can custom make these arrows to you, spin test them, make them perfect, and ship them straight to your door. So you don't have any reason to hesitate ordering arrows. We make them all and build them all right here for you. So yeah. When we'll do it ourselves. It's just typical thing other people do, but I want to make sure people know that we will ship them out and get them to you
For a reasonable cost. We're not gonna overcharge. We're not gonna, because I have honestly, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I kind of creeped on a few sites that do the custom arrows, and dadgummit, some of the charges on there are insane. we are going to make sure that we keep it fair, guys, not just for us, but for you guys. So, um, yeah, so go check us out, get you some custom arrows, check us out. We do have the slick tip broadheads that he was referring to. Shoot, we had the Tulus that he was referring to, obviously the T2s that he was referring to. We got the arrows. So y'all just go check them out. If y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to you can send us an email, you can text us, call us, whatever you want to do. We will get back to you in a very good timing fashion. But yeah, so we appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much, Mike, for coming out and hanging out
Yeah.
with us and chit chatting. We do enjoy having, dude. This was absolutely fun. I love living vicariously through you. Just motivates me more to
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
get
I
on a
was
hunt.
literally sitting here listening to you, like imagining like
Right,
how
kind of
this looked in
daydreaming
real
a little
life,
bit.
man.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I
It's
love that so much.
I
Well,
think we need to have a part 2 on this and get Andy and Pat in here.
oh, for sure.
oh yeah.
Mike, Andy, and
Oh,
Pat.
And we
yeah.
got some stories, man.
Dude,
Right.
that podcast
That might be a little long.
That one's gonna be a special edition.
Yeah.
That may be
Like
a part
a
two,
part 2, part
three.
3. You,
That's gonna be
hey
fun.
man,
Hey,
hey,
man.
Yeah.
I
Well, as
can't
long
wait
as
to
we
meet
just gotta make sure we get the shirt made and make sure that
the Hey
Andy's
Man
wearing
shirt.
the Hey Man
Yeah.
shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Gotta
awesome.
have that done. Well, we appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to next week's episode. So y'all stay tuned. Make sure you take a look. We should have this episode. We're super excited. We can't wait to hear the feedback. Don't worry, I'll cut this shit out. But can't wait to hear the feedback on this, guys. We'll have this up and running. And
Next week it's going
Whoop.
to be special guest with Cody,
oh,
Lara Stacy, former race car driver turned bow hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
that's gonna be fun.
Hear a story about that, and then we'll post some videos up in the screen of Lara doing a spot and stalk on a hog.
Yeah.
I hear how that story went down. That was a random as hell for them, I know. But anyway, that one's gonna be fun too. Lara, in case you didn't know, she's a straight badass. It's awesome getting pictures of her, and especially just a couple years ago, I think might have been very recently. She's got the baby in a sling with a dead buck. Like
Yeah.
the baby's in
That's
the
awesome.
sling,
Yep.
right? And with a dead buck, I'm just like, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Man.
It
That's
is
just
awesome.
badass. It just shows to show you that nothing's gonna stop someone from their passion. So
Oh yeah.
that's gonna be next week, and that's gonna be a fun one too. But I definitely enjoyed the shit out of this one.
Yeah.
Whenever we get ready to do that turkey talk, that one's gonna be fun too. I can't wait for that one. But anyway, this one was fun.
Well, we appreciate it, guys. Till next week. Y'all have a great day.